A very good evening to you all and welcome to English News Bulletin here on Rwanda Television. We'll begin with the headlines. On Friday, the new Africa Medicines Agency headquarters in Rwanda was inaugurated with its management handed over to the African Union. Rwanda's Minister of State for Regional Cooperation, retired General James Kabarebe, has shed light on the genesis and the cause of strained relations between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. My name is Olive Neten. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. We hope you had a productive week. Now, let's begin our edition. As we begin this edition, let us inform you that on Friday at Rugwiro Village, President Kagame received Ambassador Minata Samat Sesuma, Commissioner for Health, Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development, who was in Kigali for the inauguration of the new African Medicines Agency headquarters. President Kagame reaffirmed Rwanda's commitment to the delivery of equitable access to quality medical products and technologies across the continent. The head of state also received Dr. Jean Kaseya, the Director General of the Africa Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention, Africa CDC. Still on health matters, on Friday, the new Africa Medicines Agency headquarters in Rwanda was inaugurated with its management handed over to the African Union. Prince Manzi with more.
The 8th-floor building handed over to the EU as the AMA's headquarters is located in Nyarugenge District, Kigali City. The government of Rwanda also provided 11 new cars to the agency workers. Minata Samate Sesuma, the Commissioner for Health, Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development at the AU, affirms that when the AMA Treaty was adopted, people did not believe that Africa would realize having such an agency, but Rwanda proved it wrong.
Today, we witness the fruition of the seed we planted. A few years ago, when the Treaty of AMA was adopted in 2019, many people didn't believe that Africa can succeed in having a medicine agency, but it happened. AMA is here. AMA is operational, and you can count on our engagement to continue that work together. It's not only for Rwanda, for Minata, or it is for all Africa, and we are proud of it. You can count on my support.
Rwanda's Health Minister, Dr. Sabe Sanzimana, affirms that the Africa Medicines Agency will help in developing medicine checking on the African continent.
Medicine on the continent that are not checked for the quality are actually higher, up to some countries reaching a level of 30%, even 40%, that are not checked or safe, depending on the level of regulatory bodies in each of the countries. So to make that harmony of the standards on the continent, we need this body, that's AMA's role, to make sure whichever products on the market for health, medicine, are going to be first verified, checked before they get even into countries, hospitals, pharmacies, and wherever they'll be accessed by people.
The health minister also affirms that the agency will contribute highly to Rwanda's health sector development.
As a country, hosting this agency, this continental agency, is actually an addition to our policy, our direction as a country, to contribute to local manufacturing of health products. We have already other similar or contributing institutions, factories, agencies that have been established in Rwanda, particularly post-COVID time, that having AMA is going to be an addition, an added value to have this ecosystem built and strengthened in Rwanda, but also for the continent.
Africa Medicines Agency is a specialized agency for the African Union dedicated to improving access to quality, safe, and efficacious medical products in Africa. The AMA Treaty was adopted by the AU Assembly on 11th February 2019.
Thank you, Prince, for the details. Now, moving ahead, Rwanda's Minister of State for Regional Cooperation, retired General James Kabarebe, has shed light on the genesis and the cause of strained relations between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Adam Squizera with more on this.
In an interview with Mvemba Dizolele of the Center for Strategic and International Studies, retired General James Kabarebe pointed out on the current relations of Rwanda and its neighboring states.
We have had good relationships with our neighbors. We have not had any problem with Tanzania, for example. With Uganda, it has been on and off, but we have a very long history of and a very strong relationship, historical relations with Uganda. Even with a few skirmishes that have taken place, they have been easily overcome and easily because they are not. There's nothing fundamental that is difficult to deal with between us and Uganda. So with Uganda, we are okay and we have been fine. Even with Burundi, it has not been very difficult for a very long time. In Burundi, we only had the recent skirmishes originating from their own internal problems. So there is nothing deep, nothing difficult with Burundi that cannot be settled.
Rwanda's Minister of State, retired General James Kabarebe, shed light on the genesis and the cause of the strained relations between Rwanda and DRC that has fueled tensions for decades.
The genocidal forces, militias and government forces that had been received by Mobutu along our border, the whole stretch, western stretch, very close to the border, 1994, 95, they had started incursions into Rwanda. They had started entering Rwanda, killing our people again, selectively killing the Tutsis that had been saved or had survived the 1994 genocide. But at the same time, the genocidal forces that crossed into Zaire in 1994, on reaching there, they found other people, Congolese, similar to Tutsis that they had killed here in Rwanda. So they embarked on them and also persecuted them and killed them. Some of them made their way and came to Rwanda, went to Burundi, went to Uganda for refuge. That was 1994. All of those are still refugees since then in these countries.
In this interview, retired General James Kabarebe addressed on various allegations.
The biggest problem with the DRC today is not even the issue of M23. M23 is a repercussion of a ramification of all that history. The DRC has made one strategic mistake, especially the leadership, the various leaderships of DRC after 1994-96. For them to have chosen and constructed an anti-Rwanda, particularly anti-Tutsi sentiment, and used it as a political tool to gain legitimacy of the Congolese population, so that they have chosen to label everything, all their failures, all their problems of the DRC as being caused by Rwanda.
The Minister of State for Regional Cooperation in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, retired General James Kabarebe, has also highlighted on the country's development journey over the last 30 years.
Talk about. So after 1994, then Rwanda embarked on the journey of reconstruction, post-genocide reconstruction, building institutions, strong institutions, building a system that works, governing system that works, reuniting our people, and then embarking on the economic development path. I think after 30 years now, we have registered some progress.
This interview has also highlighted the role of the DRC government, which continues to reject the measures outlined in the Rwanda process, measures intended to bring the solution to the ongoing issues in the Eastern DRC. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adam, for the detailed report. Now to other matters. Rwanda Revenue Authority is targeting to increase the compliance of taxpayers' uptake in using electronic billing machine. The authority says that although there has been commendable growth registered, the culture of requesting EBM invoices is still lacking. William Evans with more.
While launching the beginning of Taxpayers Appreciation Month, which will run under the theme, My EBM, My Contribution, the Commissioner General of Rwanda Revenue Authority said that this year's theme speaks to the need for the authority to instill the culture of requesting EBM invoices, but also to increase the compliance of taxpayers' uptake in using electronic billing machines.
The theme of this year is My EBM, My Contribution. And the purpose of this is to ensure that we instill the culture of requesting for EBM invoices, but also increase the compliance of taxpayers' uptake in using EBM. We have seen a growth from 2013-2014 to 2023-2024 of a growth of over 205%. And it has also contributed on the income tax. So it's very critical that people start understanding the importance of requesting for invoices, but also the traders using EBM whenever they are doing their businesses.
Although Rwanda's tax performance is good, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning said that our tax regime needs to be modernized to be able to capture new areas that are emerging globally.
We need to modernize our tax system. That requires improvements in our tax policies and laws. There are some high growth sectors that we see that we don't think our tax regime is able to capture properly. We are seeing areas in construction, we are seeing there's a lot of value addition that is happening in construction. We are looking at other areas of innovation that are new globally. In creative sectors, innovation sectors, these are very new areas. There's a lot of value addition happening in those areas. Our tax systems are not yet able to capture those areas.
By using technology, e-correspondence systems, and carrying out more trainings for taxpayers to know their obligation and other strategies in place, Rwanda Revenue Authority believes that it will be able to achieve the tax collection target, which is set at a whopping 3,061 billion Rwandan francs this year, covering 54% of next year's budget. William Evans, Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Evans, for the details. Now to Rwanda's financial sector. Approximately 5 billion Rwandan francs will be allocated to fund youth and women's projects in Rwanda through the Business Development Fund, which facilitates the distribution of these funds. However, the demand for financing continues to exceed available resources, leaving some potential entrepreneurs without the support they need. To address these challenges, BDF launched a service delivery awareness campaign on November 1st, 2024, set to run through January 2025. This campaign aims to improve service standards and increase engagement with key stakeholders, including youth and women, financial institutions, and other partners. According to BDF CEO Vincent Munyeshyaka, enhancing service quality is a key focus of this initiative. The campaign will also welcome new projects across various sectors, with over 5 billion Rwandan francs allocated to support these initiatives. Since 2012, BDF has facilitated funding worth 126.8 billion Rwandan francs for youth and women's projects in agriculture, livestock and business through small and medium financial institutions and commercial banks. Now to other matters. Earlier today, our colleague Adam Squizera discussed with MTN senior officers on the importance of employee proposition values at workplace, whereas highlighted how crucial it is in fostering employee engagement and commitments leading to increased productivity. We have more with Adams.
It's a very broad view, but I think essentially what it really means is that it defines, in a way, the benefits and the values and the experiences that companies will offer to attract, engage, and retain their top talent. And in many ways, I think a compelling EVP is what sets a company apart from its competitors, particularly in industries where roles and compensation are quite similar. You want to showcase the company's unique value. And in that way, you will focus on career growth or a positive culture or meaningful work. And I think in today's world, it's so rapidly changing because of the advances in technology, AI, all the complexities around sustainability, health, human rights. The role of an EVP in that context is becoming even more significant. So I think organizations now really need to go much beyond the traditional offerings so that they can align their EVP much more with purpose-driven approaches that I think resonates a lot more with both. And just to sort of say then what MTN does, I think we've evolved our EVP from a simple proposition to what I would call much more of a promise that we call Live Inspired. And this promise is what, comes from our conviction that believe that everybody deserves to live an inspired life. And that guides our people strategy, the programs, and all the initiatives and things that we do so that we can create an environment where our people can grow, they can make meaningful impact, and that they can live inspired. So in that way, I think EVPs matter, and they make a big difference. And I think even if you see in our recent people report, we unpack that quite a lot.
Well, before I ask this question, literally various organizations, most of the times they want to deal with this issue of how they can overcome their competitors. And how could you highlight on this EVP how an EVP can compare differentiates the organization from competitors, making it an employer at a choice of choice?
Yeah. So I think, as I said, it's got to be unique. So you got to find the things that represent you. So if I think of MTN, we have 17,500 people. We comprise over 70 nationalities. We have 18 countries. We have 4 generations that work in our organization. And that creates a very rich blend of cultures, perspectives, expertise, and all of this is fundamental to the success of our company. So we focus on building that sense of belonging, that sense of integration, that sense that everybody can have a voice, everybody can deliver, and we focus on making work impactful and meaningful. And I think in that way, we start moving about making MTN a bit unique in the space, because everybody can pay well or pay and things like that. But what is in that sort of culture that makes the company different? And we refer to ourselves as the Yellow Family. And that's where the EVP I spoke about earlier, which is this Live Inspired EVP. That's our mission. We focused on building an environment where our people can thrive, where they grow, where they feel like we value them, and they have a freedom also to in many ways discover and live their own sense of purpose. And I think in nurturing a culture like that, I think that's part of the success that we've gone through. And as part of this, you also have to make sure, because of course things evolve all the time. So you've got to build mechanisms where you're truly hearing the voices of your people. And so, you have to have mechanisms to pick that up. And that's what we do here at MTN. And also, a big thing nowadays is the whole idea of well-being and just keeping people well in all respects. And here we've also invested in our digital well-being, where we have our own MTN Move app, that focuses on, promoting well-being, lifestyle, fitness, mental, nutritional, social well-being, all of those sorts of things. And then I think the other part is also with technology, because technology is evolving, there's more automation, AI is coming in. So how do you make sure that you are building an environment where people can upskill and reskill themselves all the time? So that's part of the uniqueness, I think, that companies have to work through to separate themselves from the rest.
Well, in that line, Paul, why a highly motivated, talented person would choose to work for MTN?
Well, I think if you consider that, I think there is a lot of sort of areas, as I said, who we are firstly as a brand externally, who we are as this collective view where people can find themselves represented. As I described, we have 70 nationalities, we have so anybody coming in, it's important that they feel like they belong. So they want to see themselves, they want to see their nationalities, their languages, their values represented. So I think that's what helps us attract highly motivated people. Of course, the company must be a success. The company must be successful. People must feel that they can grow in that company, that they can add value, that they can bring some impact, and that is in alignment with their purpose and the company's purpose. And as I said, MTN believes everybody deserves the benefits of a modern connected life on our continent. So we attract people that want to make that happen. And we create the environment for them to thrive in that way.
Sure. Thank you, Paul. I know you have a very tight schedule. Let's come back here in Kigali with Enoch.
Thank you.
Then Enoch, you had what Paul was reiterating on this EVP, but for me, what I will want to ask you is about the diversity and inclusion. Could you discuss MTN's dedication to fostering a diverse and inclusive workplace, appealing to candidates who value a supportive, environment? Particularly, let's take a scenario of here in Rwanda, MTN Rwanda.
Thank you so much. As Paul has just mentioned, our EVP is very key to organization, but again also to our key stakeholders, the people, customers, investors. And diversity and inclusion is one of the key pillars that bringing the richness of our EVP at MTN Rwanda. And here mainly we look at gender and disability being our key focus areas in terms of indicating the diversity and inclusion of our people in the organization. And this really matters much into our workplace, the external working environment, and who we are as MTN Rwanda.
Sure. Before I ask you the next question, let me first thank Paul Norman for his time. Paul, I would like to appreciate you for your time.
Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure to be with you, and lovely to share in this conversation. Thanks so much.
Sure, thank you so much. So let's come back here in Kigali as we were with Paul there in South Africa. Paul is the MTN Group Chair Human Resource Officer, and I'm right here with Enoch. Then Enoch, someone would want to understand work-life balance. I mean, MTN's policies and practices to promote this work-life balance are there.
Yeah, thank you so much. At MTN Rwanda and globally with MTN as a group setup, we believe in work-life balance, and this is something that is very important. And we've put in place a couple of policies that really enhance the way we continue to do better in terms of creating the base work-life balance, work environment for people. And what do I mean by this? These policies create the flexibility of people working from MTN as a group, but again also MTN as MTN Rwanda.
Now to education matters. Students and educators across various schools in Kigali City note that the introduction of smart tanks, advanced water filtration system, has significantly improved their health, as students previously faced illnesses from consuming contaminated water. These smart tanks provide reliable access to clean drinking water, an essential resource that was often hard to obtain, particularly for primary and secondary school students.
Before this tank came, before we before we brought water for ourselves, and when the water came over, you drink water when you reached at home. But now, because we have this tank helps us to. We never get thirsty. When we need water, we never get thirsty. And when we don't share water because there is a virus called Marburg, so we don't need to get no, we don't need to be affected with the Marburg.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Welcome. Before, we used to bring water from our homes and then use it until we go back to our homes to take other amount of water. But when the tank came, we are getting water when we are in need. When you bring water, we always come here at school when the taps are open. When you are in need of water, you can ask for permission, and then you come and you fetch the water and then you drink.
Schools equipped with these filtered water systems have also implemented policies requiring each student to use their own water bottle to reduce cross-contamination risks. School administrators note that the availability of safe drinking water has led to fewer students' absences due to waterborne illnesses and positively impacted learning outcomes.
This smart tank has helped the kids a lot so that they can improve their studies and so that they can get the good, clean water for drinking. This has helped a lot from the parents. Even, some of the kids, they used to drink wherever water they can get somewhere. So now they have the pure water at school where you have seen so that they can drink and they continue their studies without the sickness from drinking the dirty water. So before this smart tank we had here, students used to bring their own water. We don't know even where they took from, and even some others, they used to take water wherever they meet with it. So that's why we have taken this decision for bringing this smart tank. And even, sometimes we don't have even the normal water in our tap and whatever. When it is not around, that's where we can have a storage of water, maybe at least 2 or 3 days per week, which is so helping for our students to improve even their studies so that they can get a good water for drinking. This is so improving in our career of education.
While many schools in Kigali have adopted smart tanks, some educators express concerns that certain institutions have yet to provide filtered drinking water, which they see as a missed opportunity for students' well-being. Makludin Hirenganya, the Director General of Communication and Education in Kigali City, has urged schools to ensure students drink water hygienically to prevent diseases. Institutions using smart tanks maintain them regularly, replacing filters and through cleaning the tanks every 3 months to ensure a consistent supply of safe drinking water for students. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast. On behalf of the technical and news production team, we wish you a restful weekend. Until next time, goodbye.